Guys, so I am back for another video with Nicole.
And for those of you who maybe haven't seen any videos with me in it, I'm Brittany's twin sister.
Yeah, because it's been a while since we've made one together, so just thought we'd do a new intro of Nicole so people aren't like, who is this person sitting next to her that looks exactly the same? Well, almost, minus the hair. But anyways, we wanted to talk today, we wanted to focus this video on kind of the modern epidemic of narcissism that's just completely infesting our society. And I think a good place to start is the fact that we're so individualistic nowadays. We don't really have a sense of collectivism or even community anymore. Like first they broke down the community that was the family.
Yes, the most important.
Yeah, and then the religious community, which, like for example, Christianity has just fractured into thousands of denominations, and these communities are getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, and we don't mean collectivism in the sense of like a group herd or like groupthink where everybody thinks the same thing. It's more a sense of unity, of community, where you love your country, you love your neighbor, you love your family. Things like that's very strong.
But yeah, by extension, if you care about like your countrymen, then you care about the well-being of society as a whole. It's going to filter out and affect it that way. But like nowadays, it seems like there are people who care about the migrants more than they care about like our own countrymen in need,
or
like veterans, for example.
Or
do they? It could be, you know, on the other hand, some kind of virtue signaling, you know, like, oh, I care so much about the migrants so that you look good in the public eye. And then, you know, that just means it's a selfish motive, right back to the individualistic, like self-love, all about me, me, me.
Because we've become very image-oriented nowadays. Everything is all about, you know, creating this self-image online or wherever, you know, and people will only show these like great parts of themselves and try to make themselves seem very like some wonderful
flawless.
person.
It's like prepackaged. It's like a packaged version of yourself.
And the social media really gives the ability to do this.
I was reading an article and it said something like on any given day there are over 900 million people using Facebook at once, which is insane. So you have, you know, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and it's all about putting yourself out there. And even like if you look at movements like feminism, for example, even though it's supposed to be a community, there is no sense of collectivism. Like for example,
always attacking each other all the time. Yes.
We went to the Women's March together in the beginning of 2017. It was on Inauguration Day, the Women's March in DC, and it was incredibly divided. Everyone had their own signs, airing their personal grievances. There was no sense of unity there. As you walked through, you're just like, what do these people even want? It's all about the self.
And another point that I think is relevant to mention is virtues like charity and humility. They're no longer encouraged on a mass scale. I mean, listen to any like rap song. It's like, oh, me and my money and me and, you know, it's all about like, I'm the king and I wear the crown and like the most narcissistic like lyrics and thoughts that you could ever imagine, and strangely this kind of behavior is like applauded.
That's the thing. It'd be one thing if people put it out there and it was rejected. It's like gross, you know, you're so arrogant and full of yourself. But our society completely eats it up and they glorify it. Like in the words of Mr. Incredible, they keep thinking up new ways to celebrate mediocrity.
Exactly.
That's basically
mediocrity or just plain like asinine. Or just like ugly and gross, you know?
Yeah, for example, like what's a really narcissistic show? They got really, like these Real Housewives show or like Jersey Shore, whatever. Americans are the ones that made these people famous. And they keep making stupid, just people famous that in no way would you want your children, even you, to look up to as role models. But many children are. And this just goes to show, reflects the sickness in our society right now.
I think it's really an interesting observation sort of regarding this whole era of self-love is I feel like, especially in the West where this is very prevalent, there's so much, you know, I'm so important and wonderful, and yet at the same time there's so much like insecurity. People like on social media, why are we posting all these pictures and everything? It's the constant need for affirmation. So on one hand there's this extreme like self-love and narcissism, and on the other hand we're so insecure that we need the constant information. It's like this contradictory sort of thing going on. But it's really interesting to me. But it seems to be only getting worse. Like no matter how much people are praised, you know, you see some certain celebrities or maybe people you know, no matter how much they're being fed this like, you know, you're so wonderful and all these flatteries, their appetite's like never satiated. Like they just need it more and more and more. And maybe they'll go off and do the most ludicrous, preposterous things to get the attention.
Just for the attention.
Yes.
I think in a way, just inherently, we want that sense of community and belonging. So even putting out all this stuff about yourself and wanting to be accepted and glorified, it's a way, it's a call, like a desperate cry to be a part of something, some kind of community. So we're just so broken down, and it's really, as you can see, having really negative effects on people, and as a result, society as a whole.
And I think it really could be traced back to the family's been attacked. You know, I think when people have no sense of like belonging in the family unit, that's where they feel, that's their first, where they become so hollow and empty. That's where I really, really believe that it begins and leaves the deepest scars.
And I think it's also the fact that nowadays everyone, well, depending on where you are on like the oppression scale, what level you're at, you are just inherently special. You can do no wrong. So like back then it was like you had to work and work and work, and you would achieve your rank of being special because of your accomplishments or you know, how much work you put into things. Like what you gave, you would get. Nowadays it's this weird kind of measuring. For example, if you do everything that's politically correct, then you'll be glorified for that. Or if you're transgender or gay or something, you'll be more special than someone who's straight automatically, just because that's what our society deems as special. But a lot of it is just entitlement, and I don't want to have to work for it. I just want to be special. So, but as long as our society continues to glorify that, like for example, someone who's really beautiful and has perfect Instagram photos, as long as that person can get millions of followers and be famous and have a wonderful life, why would anyone strive to achieve anything more important and significant in any way?
Yes, well, that in this current society, that's like upheld is the, you know, the epitome of like success and you know, accomplishment in life.
At the end of the day, ultimately, it's just about having a balance. Like, you should love yourself to an extent, in the sense that you care how you look, be presentable, but we've just gone way overboard. We don't have that moderation. So you should love yourself, and then you'll be able to love others better, I think, but just not this extreme, like, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread or whatever, kind of mentality that we have right now. I think our society really needs a rebirth. Some kind of rebirth.
Where people can just care about things beyond themselves. You know, for example, their country. Brittany was saying earlier, you know, like
something
our
bigger than
country is
themselves.
Slipping away while we're all taking selfies.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it's really, really sad, but it made me laugh because it's like so darkly true, you know?
We first have to realize that there's a problem. Like, society has to stop fomenting all of this just degeneracy and superficiality.
Yes, and just praising it and encouraging it.
Yeah, we need some kind of rebirth, but of course that would take a sense of collectivism, people to realize collectively that we have these problems and to rectify them. And it's just a question of, can this be done? Will it be done? And hopefully it will, because our society can't continue on this downward spiral that it is for much longer without, you know, collapsing from within. Yeah. So that's about it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was kind of negative. I'm sorry. There is hope. There is hope. You know, there's always hope. I think it's been good that so many people are waking up over the past couple years. And I think that obviously we still have a chance. I think America has a chance. I think Europe has a chance. And I think that it's extremely pathetic, to be honest, that a lot of people have just given up. Like, I care about Sweden, it's gone. You know, it's actually not gone yet. There's always hope, and it depends on leadership and if enough people are willing to stand up and say something. So there's always hope. Thank you so much to everyone for watching, and thanks again, Nicole,
it's been great to finally make another video.
Yeah, we're gonna make a few more actually before we leave Vienna. So look forward to those if you're interested, and we
meant to before while I was still in the States, but we had technical difficulties, and then our schedules didn't really match up. So yeah, we're gonna try to make a few more now that we're together.
Yeah, and we'll both be going home soon, so we can make them home together as well. So once again, thanks so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.